Let's go. New intro created by my friend DJ Ocho. Appreciate him taking the time out of his day to make that for me. And thank you guys for taking time out of your night or day or whenever you're watching this to listen to me give my thoughts and opinions on the Phoenix Suns. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about it all. And I want to say we're going to talk about the good because even though the cliche narrative that everything is terrible for the Phoenix Suns right now, even though that's going around a lot, there is a lot of good going around. Believe it or not, you guys. So a couple housekeeping notes real quick. What was it? I totally just lost my train of thought. A couple housekeeping notes real quick. Sorry, guys. Off to a bad start to the show. As always, let me know if we're looking and sounding good. I decided not to go live last night because I just knew there was going to be a lot of negativity and a lot of just, a lot of bad stuff on the live show. And I just decided just to take a night off, relax a little bit, play some video games. And I know the live shows on this channel have been a little inconsistent. I mean, as I always say on this show, real life comes first. But I'm going to try to be doing more live shows, especially this upcoming week and the week of Thanksgiving, because I actually have a week off of work. So I'm hoping to do some more live shows then. Also, for those of you who may not know, Kelly Oubre, a couple days ago or whatever, was hit by a car. And I just wanted to keep you guys updated on that, at least everything I've been reading. First off, thank God he's okay. I think what they labeled it as was he has a rib fracture, if I got that correct. I believe he was released from the hospital the same night. Their president and GM or whatever, Daryl Morey, was there. Team representatives were there that night. Again, first off, basketball stuff aside, I'm glad that he's going to be okay. And hopefully, his family and loved ones and all that are going to be okay as well. And I wish him a speedy recovery. And I just hope that, he'll be able to play basketball at 100%, again, one day. But basketball stuff with that, I don't think he's going to miss a lot of this, or excuse me, he won't miss the whole season. He is going to miss a lot of the season pretty much. They say he's going to miss a significant amount of time. I always love Kelly Oubre, always will. He's a Phoenix Sun for life, in my opinion, Mr. Valley Boy. And I just wanted to just keep you guys updated on that. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he makes a strong comeback. And again, hopefully one day we see him back at 100%. Also, you guys know me. I'm not a huge baseball fan. But Corbin Carroll did win the unanimous National League Rookie of the Year. So congratulations to him. And I know they lost in the World Series, but I don't even care, you guys. Congratulations to the Diamondbacks. Made it all the way to the World Series. And that's just awesome. So, all right. With those housekeeping notes out of the way, again, thank you to everybody who is here right now. Again, let me know if we're looking and sounding good. All right. Let's do this, y'all. Real quick. I'm also not going to... This is going to be a live show that probably not until the end. I won't really be getting to the comments or anything. I'm going to try to keep my eye on them, but I really just want to kind of focus in on the notes. But I will read a couple real quick. Suns Geek doesn't want to focus. Suns Geek doesn't want negativity on a Sunday, but chose negativity on a Monday. Just kidding. Glad Kelly Oubre is okay. Valley Boy for life. Exactly. Shout out to DJ Ocho, who did make the intro. He says Phoenix Rising. Yes, congratulations to them for winning the cup and everything. That is awesome. He said the USL Championship champs. So shout out to them. All right, y'all. Let's dive into this. And where do I begin? You know what? I'm going to start off how, unfortunately, for better or for worse, I've started off a few live shows. And I'm going to start it off with some sarcasm because, yes, Suns fans, we can laugh. We can have some sarcasm, okay? We can, So here's my terrible sarcasm, joke, whatever you want to call it. I got on this live show today to tell you guys that the Phoenix Suns season is over and the KD trade was terrible and the Bradley Beal trade was terrible and the Phoenix Suns are going to be plagued with injuries all year and we need to fire Frank Vogel and Matt Ishbia is not getting the job done. Sorry, Suns fans, because that's what Suns Twitter wants to tell you. And that's what a lot of comments in my comment section are saying. And I'm going to have more on that later. I actually might get canceled by Suns fans for something that I'm going to say later, but I really mean it. Anyways, that's my sarcasm. I don't believe any of that. And yes, there are a lot of issues that the Phoenix Suns need to address. And yes, we are going to talk about them. But Phoenix Suns fans, I assure you, the sky is not falling. There are 72 more games to go. 72. Wait. You didn't hear what I said? Hold on. Put your ear a little bit closer. There are 72 more games to go. We have a future ballot Hall of Famer. First future, I'm losing my words. We have a Hall of Famer in Kevin Durant, you guys. We have a superstar, a true superstar who, if it isn't obvious already, is the most valuable player on this team in Devin Booker. And we have an all-star in Bradley Beal. We have a head coach who has won a championship, who has coached in this league for years. And we have some solid role players, which we're going to talk about that later too. The sky is not falling, you guys. And I hate to say this. Actually, I don't hate to say it. I'm serious. It could be a lot worse. I hate to be that guy who's like, oh, you always say it could be a lot worse. Well, it's true. We could be like the Memphis Grizzlies, who started off like 1-8 last time I checked. I mean, I think now they've won a couple of games, but we could be a lot worse. We could be the rebuilding Washington Wizards, who actually are a lot of fun to watch on offense, and they have a really good rookie. I think his name's like Kabale or something like that. And they got some other young pieces over there. Could be a lot worse, Suns fans. We're 4-6 in 10 games. And yes, I understand. We could be 7-3 or 7-2 or 8-2, I should say. We could be 5-5, which in a weird way, I guess I would rather take the 5-5, but you get the point. All right. Let's start off with the bad. And that's how a lot of the show is going to be. It's going to jump from good to bad to good to bad. Also, near the end of the show, before Suns Twitter cancels me, I'm going to read your guys' comments. Most of them, anyways. I have some from Instagram. I screen capped it, got some answers here, and I got a whole bunch from Twitter that we will read and react. My guy Casey says, nice hat, Geek. Yeah, the Sun City Edition hat with, I still can't pronounce that. I swear, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, Suns fans, for not knowing how to talk. Anyways. All right, y'all. So yeah, let's start with the bad. Yes, the fourth quarters are terrible. They are disastrous, and I will say that. And I'm sure a lot of you pessimistic Suns fans are like, yes, Suns Geek's talking about the negative. Calm down, Suns fans. It's going to get a lot more positive on here as the show goes on, okay? But look, Frank Vogel, whether you guys love him or hate him, and we're going to talk about Frank Vogel later, by the way, he does know what's happening. Kevin Durant knows what's happening. Heck, Devin Booker, who's played, 2 games, even knows what's happening. The fourth quarters are bad. I will not look over that, and we're going to go over it. So I want to give a big shout out to PHNX, because they just do great work over there. They got a whole network and team of people over there. I read an article today that Gerald wrote. And if this doesn't explain how terrible the Suns' fourth quarters have been, I don't really know how else to address it, analyze it, break it down. Here's how terrible the fourth quarters have been. And I'm going to lower this little Phoenix Suns fourth quarter woes bar. So Gerald writes, disastrous fourth quarter finish, 111-99 loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Blah, blah, blah. Fourth quarters are terrible. The Phoenix Suns are currently, at the time of this recording, November 13th, 2023. We are last in points, which is 21.8. So we're only, scoring 21.8 points in the fourth quarter. 30th in assists, so last in assists. Turnovers, field goal percentage. We're 29th in three-point percentage, but it's a terrible 24.2 in the fourth quarter. 28th in free throws attempted. Last in point differential, negative 6.1. Last in total point differential. You get the point. I mean, we're 15th in defensive rating in the fourth quarter, but it's pretty damn terrible. The Suns were already bottom feeders in these categories, but Sunday pushed them even lower. OKC is a quality opponent, off to a good start, which I do agree with that. But Phoenix's 6-point lead entering the fourth quarter dissolved into a 12-point loss by the end. The Suns were outscored in the final frame, shooting an atrocious 2 for 21 overall. And they only hit 1 3 out of 8 attempts. So again, shout out to PHNX. Shout out to Gerald for writing that. Again, if this, what you're reading on the screen, does not summarize how terrible the Suns' fourth quarters have been this season, I don't know what will. But I will keep reading you stuff that I read today. Going back to the Lakers game. Oh boy. Remember the Lakers game? I read this earlier. The Lakers went on a 19-2 run in pulling out a comeback win. And then, we just talked about the Thunder game. I believe in the fourth quarter, the Thunder powered through the Suns on the strength of a 23-6 surge in the fourth quarter. Now, someone fact check me if I'm wrong here, but I think I saw Dwayne Rankin post this. The Suns' last field goal came at the 6:42 mark, left in the fourth quarter, obviously, off of a Beal jumper. The Suns pulled within 1. The Thunder outscored us the rest of the way 17-6 and won by 12. I mean, Dwayne Rankin wrote this. The Suns aren't looking like a championship contender right now, as they seem to run out of gas in the fourth quarter, which I do agree with that. They'll need time with their big three to even begin what they can be. Shout out to Dwayne Rankin for that, and those stats that I read too. So one thing I've noticed in the fourth quarters, and I don't know why this sticks to me, or like why I feel like it's, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, one thing I've noticed in the fourth quarter, and maybe it's just because despite the flaws of last year's team, at least last year's team had some pretty good ball movement. And in some games, I've seen some good ball movement. And I'm not saying ball movement is the reason we're struggling in the fourth quarter, because I just read you why we're struggling in the fourth quarter. But what I've noticed is the ball movement's pretty bad in the fourth quarter. It's kind of non-existent in a way. Maybe it's the swarming defense. The Suns have always struggled with a zone defense, even though it's funny because when they go on a zone defense, they're actually pretty good. But when the Suns are being defended in the zone, they struggle. Even last year's team and the team before that. I don't know why. I've seen this trending a little bit. Maybe it's a little too much KD in the fourth quarter. Maybe that's because Devin Booker's not on the court. Maybe that's because Bradley Beal is not 100% yet. Guys still learning how to play with one another. I know I'm making excuses for the Suns, but that's just something that I have taken away. And then, you know, we're gonna react to something that Frank Vogel said, and we're gonna react to something that Kevin Durant said as well. But we're just straight up missing shots in the fourth quarter, plain and simple. Like, yes, the defense could be better. The ball movement could be better. Don't worry. We're going to talk about the turnovers lately. Or we're going to talk, lately, we're going to talk about the turnovers, but the turnovers could be, you know, don't turn the ball over pretty much. But the ball is not going into the basket. And I know last year's team had the flaws that they did, but in a way, there were some games we could have won, especially during the playoffs, if the ball would have went in the basket. I keep reminding Phoenix Suns fans about this. And I know it was a preseason game against the Pistons, but do not forget what we did in that first preseason game in the first quarter with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. We put up what, like 48 points on them? And I know they haven't been healthy. I know. And Devin Booker's got this injury and Bradley Beal's back and blah, blah. I get it. Kevin Durant's 35. I get it. But don't forget what we did in that one game. When Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal are 100% and they're on the court at the same time, it is going to be terrifying for the league. And I want to repeat something that I said earlier in the show. We have 72 games left, Suns fans. 72 games. I'm recording this on November 13th. In December 13th, we could be in a completely different place. We could be a completely different team than we are now. And I know a lot of Suns fans are going to be like, oh my gosh, well, we could be like, you know, in the bottom of the standings by then and blah, 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 blah. No, I don't believe that. I believe we're going to be a better team. I believe we're going to have better fourth quarters by then. I believe we're going to be pretty much fully healthy and we're going to be dominating the league by then. That's what I believe. So let me take a little bit of a breather here. We're going to listen to Frank Vogel here. Let me just open this. Let's see if this works. Yeah, there we go. We're going to listen to what Frank Vogel had to say after the fourth quarter. And then we're going to kind of just read you guys a couple quotes that I saw floating around from like Katie and stuff. And while you guys are listening, I know the audio is not terrific, but I'm going to take a sip of my water and stuff, take a little bit of breather. Let me put on my headphones too. You guys already know the drill here. One man show. Take a shot for every time I've said that on this show. You guys be wasted. And again, I do appreciate everybody that is tuning in. We got about 45 people in here. Whether you're watching this now or later, please make sure to Hulk smash that like button. Please subscribe. I do appreciate it. All right, let's listen in to what Frank Vogel had to say.
What's going on with the offense in the fourth? You guys had your last basket. I think it was 6:42, 2 of 21 from the field. What's happening with that?
Tough quarter. I think tonight's fourth quarter is different than some of the other fourth quarter struggles we've had. Last 48 hours, we put a lot of work into our execution. I felt like our execution was better. Shots just didn't fall, and it's a tough night. I think you got Brad down to his back injury and trying to get his legs under him. He's been carrying a heavy load for us all season, played every game in pretty big minutes. But I think the execution was better than it was versus the Lakers and versus with some of the other fourth quarter breakdowns. We just didn't make shots.
I'm curious when you said you're getting good looks, but is it almost like I saw some guys passing up some shots too, like maybe like it's a corner three and then they're kicking it to someone else? I mean,
we're working through roles for certain guys. Okay. You know what I mean? Like I thought Josh Okogie had a big offensive improvement game. Instead of relying on being a volume 3-point shooter, if they're gonna sag off of him. He made a lot of what we call flip plays, redrive plays, one mores into shooters. We're doing some things with him. We're doing some things with our centers to help them finish better in the basket. Or reshape and get the ball back to KD and to Brad in different ways. And we're working through those types of roles. But we definitely don't want guys passing up shots that are good looks. But we're working through those guys, working through their roles too.
You had said Brad battling the back injury. How much was that bothering him tonight?
Yeah, he tweaked it in the first half, and there was questions about whether he was going to return, and he toughed it out. The guy wants to be in there. He's a warrior. He's playing through injury, and got to commend him for that.
What's going on?
Okay, guys, we got something crazy going on. I'm live on Instagram right now, and I'm live on YouTube. So I'm going to put my phone down so I can continue on. All right. So you heard Frank Vogel, who, again, we're going to talk about him later because there's a lot of Frank Vogel overreactions going on right now. By the way, if you're joining me on Instagram, I'm live on my YouTube channel. Just search Sons Geek and you'll find me. You know what? I need a better place to put this phone. You know what? Whatever. Just put it right there. All right, cool. Okay, guys. Follow me on Instagram, by the way. Follow me on TikTok, MySpace, Twitter, etc. All linked down there. All right, guys. So I think it really does just kind of wind down to the stats that we read earlier. The Suns not making shots. Turnovers, which, oh boy, I got a stat about the turnovers too. Oh my goodness. All that good stuff. Or bad stuff, I should say. Yes, TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. But I want to read something here, and I want to make sure I'm getting this right. I believe Kevin Durant said this. It's funny because I wrote the quote down, but I actually forgot to write down who said the quote. But I believe it was Kevin Durant. He said, "It's frustrating losing games. You hate to lose, but you've been through it before. You understand what needs to be done. You can get mad all you want." Probably talking to you Suns fans, but you got to come to a solution at some point. It sucks losing games, but I like the fabric of the guys. I believe that's what Kevin Durant said. And he's right. You know, that's why I've been sort of optimistic. I feel like I've been one of the few who have been pretty optimistic about this team, despite what's been happening, because it's basketball. It's an 82-game season. It's a brand new team with new coaches, etc. I could go all day. And, as we mentioned, the ball's just not going in the basket in the fourth quarter. They run out of gas. They turn the ball over. I don't know. Hopefully there is some kind of solution soon to that. And let's be real. I know that there's a lot of tough games coming up. Like we got the Timberwolves next. They've been playing great and everything. But there will be some games that, even though the NBA it's hard to win in the league, there will be some games where, we're going to blow out teams, right? Those are the kind of games not only that we have to win, but that we will kind of find our groove again. Now, I would rather have some of those find our groove again games go against the better teams in the league, but you get my point. So I want to read y'all a stat here, and let me make sure I'm getting this right too. Here we go. Is this it right here? Let me see. Okay. Shout out to Suns Are Better on Twitter. Great follow, by the way. And I've been preaching on the turnovers. I've been talking about this on Twitter. I've been talking about this on, when I do go live, I should say. But Suns Are Better, I believe, posted this earlier. And I'm going to kind of zoom in so you guys, I think you guys can see that. But he posted this today. The Suns currently rank third worst in turnovers per game. So not to mention that's to go along with all of our terrible, pretty much last in the league fourth quarter stats. We rank third worst in turnovers per game. And he said, "Is that a problem that Devin Booker will help fix? I think so. Is it time to add a true point guard to the roster? I think so." We are averaging 16.2 turnovers a game. Yikes. 16.2. And one thing I've noticed, because again, I've talked about this on Twitter during the live shows, a lot of those turnovers usually happen in the first half, which I know Frank Vogel first off, he hates turnovers in general, but he really hates turnovers in the first half. And let's be real, it's basketball. You turn the ball over, any team in the league, whether you're the best team in the league, worst team in the league, they're going to be in the ball game. You guys know me. I'm not a big football guy, but I know if you throw a lot of interceptions, the other team's probably going to be winning the game. So don't turn the ball over, Suns. We're third in the league in turnovers. That is unacceptable. Again, shout out to Suns are better. Great follow on Twitter right there. I had to talk about the turnovers. That was just another thing. Like I said, you guys, a lot of this show is a lot of positive and a lot of negative, etc. I'm going to hop off of Instagram, but thank you to everybody who watched. Appreciate y'all. Follow me on Instagram, by the way, y'all. All right, guys. So to kind of, how do I say this? To kind of wrap up the Suns' fourth quarter woes. And I know a lot of Suns fans are kind of disappointed in this current player right now. We're going to listen to what Josh Okogie had to say, because I actually like what he said, especially the ending of what he said. And I might actually skip to the ending of what he said here. You know what? I'm just going to read you the quote, actually, instead of us listening. And then later, we actually have a full segment on Josh Okogie. I know. Crazy, right? I'm just going to read you what he said. So I think it was Gerald Bourguet who asked him, but Dwayne Rankin was talking to him too. And I forgot what the question was, but he answered, that issue has nothing to do with Book about, Devin Booker being out and the fourth quarters and the turnovers and his shooting and Josh Okogie shooting and blah, blah, blah. You get it, right? That issue has nothing to do with Book. We're supposed to be winning these games without him. And I think he might have been referencing Bradley Beal as well. We're supposed to have his back to be able to win games when he's not playing. Now, I remember Kevin Durant even said something similar to that before Beal came back. I'm paraphrasing, but he pretty much said, like, hey, we should be winning these games. We should be winning these games with, or, I'm sorry, guys, my brain is all over the place. We should be winning these games no matter who's on the court. Pretty much Kevin Durant said that. I'm paraphrasing there. But you know what? I do like what Josh Okogie said there. He pretty much said, we're supposed to be winning these games. We're supposed to have Devin Booker's back. And then I thought I read a quote saying that Josh Okogie, who again, we're going to talk about later, said that he's going to try to be more aggressive and not just stand in the corner. So for all you Josh Okogie haters out there, just know that he is aware that he is, pretty much a liability on offense, and he needs to stop shooting the three. And to his credit, he can get to the rim and he can draw fouls. Just saying. All right, y'all. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm just going over my notes here. Okay. Here's the part of the show where a lot of Suns fans may not like this part of the show. Because guess what, you guys? We're going to talk about the good. Yeah, you guys, there's actually good things to talk about with this Phoenix Suns team. Sorry, guys, I'm a little salty and bitter about all the negative, toxic Suns fans out there, because holy cow, I've been seeing so much of it. Like, I need to, take a break from Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, even though I ask you guys for feedback, and we're going to have a whole segment on that later, but, some of the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter, man, is just yikes. All right, y'all. Let me click out of this. Okay. Shout out to Suns Uni Tracker on Twitter. Great follow, by the way. Let me pull this up here. Can y'all see that? I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Hopefully y'all can see that. First off, let's start with the bottom of his tweet. Relax. Relax, Suns fans. Take a deep breath in and out. He says, 2020-21 Suns, handshake emoji, 23-24 Suns. The team on the left, the 2020-21 Suns, was coming off an 8-0 bubble run and added Chris Paul. The team on the right is an almost entirely new roster with a new coach and is dealing with injuries to star players in primary roles. So here's the, 2020 Suns first 8 games, or actually it's more than 8 games, 16 games right there. all the results and all that. And here is your Phoenix Suns right now. And I know there's going to be people in the comments after this later, and I'm sure he got a lot of responses, and everyone's got an opinion. I found this tweet positive, okay? There has to be some kind of positive, but don't worry. There's some other tweets we're going to react to. Trust me, I got a lot of them, y'all. Because I was trying to find all the good tweets today, the positive stuff. So I shouted out PHNX earlier. Shout out to Saul Bookman, who had this tweet out earlier. And I agree with him here. I'm not saying the Suns are going to figure it all out tomorrow. Let me just focus in on that first part there. He's not saying, so Saul's not saying, and I'm not saying it either. I'm not saying the Suns are going to figure it all out tomorrow, because they won't. But I will say it's early. Utah started 10-3 last year. They finished 37-45. The Lakers started 2-10 last season. Ooh, and don't forget, Suns fans and basketball fans, the Lakers pretty much traded away half of their roster, got better, and as Saul says here, made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. There are a few surprises, but most teams are going through learning pains at this stage too. Amen to that. I totally agree with that. The fourth quarters are a major problem, but I don't think it's unsolvable. I am choosing to remain optimistic. That's my choice. That's what Saul says. Shout out to PHNX. Speaking of PHNX, we got another tweet to read from a member of their crew, I think. Yeah, we do. But I agree with him. I mean, I haven't looked at the standings, but there's lots of teams that aren't where they should be. And even though this sounds crazy, Suns fans, there are other injuries in the league going on right now. I hate to talk about the Lakers, but the Lakers haven't been fully healthy. Who else has been injured? De'Aaron Fox just came back from an injury today. The Heat have been banged up, I believe. I could go on and on. And I like how Saul worded a lot of this tweet. The Suns are not going to figure it out tomorrow, but I believe they're going to figure it out soon. That's why we have practices and shoot-arounds. And then he says, most teams are going through learning pain. I can't talk. Most teams are going through learning pains at this stage too. We're 10 games in. I saw somebody talk about the Bucks and Clippers. Exactly. Like, how did I forget them? The Clippers are a disaster since they got James Harden. The Bucks, Damian Lillard's been out, I believe, for a couple of games. I could go on and on, man. This is a learning. You got to learn how to play. Like, yes, training camp is super important. And preseason, you guys know I'm big on preseason. Preseason's super important, but it takes time. Frank Vogel talked about this earlier in the year, that there really is not much time for practice throughout the season. So training camp, you have to learn a lot in training camp. You have to learn a lot in preseason. When there are days to practice, you have to practice hard. And Kevin Durant said something, now I'm kind of paraphrasing. It was after the Suns open practice. He pretty much said that, I believe, like near All-Star break. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing. I think he said around All-Star break or like December or January, he said, that's when we will kind of know the identity of this team. He said that. And he said he doesn't really like to look at it, like through steps. He just kind of wants to analyze, like take it game by game, and then, midway through kind of see what the identity of this team is. So again, that's why I'm so like optimistic and just, it takes time, you guys. It really does. Like, I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, and I don't really remember too much. Like, you guys know I cover this team, but I don't remember everything that happened like 3 seasons ago. But there were learning pains with the 2020, 21 team, with Chris Paul, Bridges, Ayton, etc. Heck, there were learning pains last year. We had some bad losses last year, you guys. Times where I would get on the live show, rant for a little bit, and shut it off because it takes time, you guys. And let me read you guys one more tweet, and then we'll kind of wrap up at least this segment, anyways. Again, another tweet from the PHNX crew. Because you know how Twitter works. Twitter's kind of weird. Like, Twitter just kind of suggests stuff. They have like the For You page and the following page, and you know. Yes, learning pains, remembering breakfast. Yes, if you guys know me like personally, there's not much going on up here. Just take my word for that. Anyways, Espo tweets this out today. Shout out to Espo, by the way, great guy. In games without Devin Booker, can you guys see this? Yeah, you guys can see this. In games without Devin Booker in his career, the Suns are 37-78. In the last 3 seasons, they are 22-29 without him, and 11-18 last season. Maybe it's just as simple as getting him back this season. And yes, there's a lot of naysayers out there, a lot of negativity. And I'm not saying Devin Booker, how do I say this? Booker will solve a lot of problems, but he won't solve everything, nor should he have those expectations. Even though he is the most valuable player on this team and one of the MVPs of the league, in my opinion, he won't solve everything, but that's why basketball is 5-on-5. You know what I mean? It's a team sport. So I agree with Espo. But really, I'll just say this to kind of wrap up this segment anyways. It is impossible, whether you are the most pessimistic, whether you're the most negative Suns fan, whether you're the most positive Suns fan like me, whether you're a fan who just became a fan at the start of the season, or whether you've been watching this team for 30, 40, 50 years. I truly believe this. No matter how long your fandom stands, whatever it is, it is impossible to judge this team without us being fully healthy. I will repeat that. It is impossible to judge this team without being fully healthy. And I know a lot of people are like, but Suns Geek, Devin Booker's injured and Bradley Beal's back and Kevin Durant. We should have kept Mikal Bridges. We should have not have traded. I know. I've read it all. Trust me, I'm still arguing and debating and going back and forth with people about all that. I get it. But guess what, Suns fans? This is the team we have right now. And heck, I'm thrilled that we have not one superstar, not 2 superstars, but 3 superstars. And I'm thrilled that we have a great head coach in Frank Vogel, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. And I'm thrilled that we have a hungry owner who always wants things to be better and loves the fans and loves the community and loves the Phoenix Mercury and et cetera, et cetera. And I like an owner who has money and isn't afraid to spend the money. Looking at you, Robert Sarver. It is impossible to judge this team until they are fully constructed. It is impossible to judge this team until they are fully healthy. So that kind of wraps up that segment. Let me take a sip of my water. Don't worry. We still got a lot more to go. By the way, we got like almost 50 people in here. Hulk, smash that like button. Please subscribe. Share the show if you want to. I always say this on the show, you guys. The best way to keep supporting the channel is just to simply keep watching. But again, any and all support is appreciated, whether it's just a like, whether it's a comment, whatever the case may be. I appreciate y'all. Don't go anywhere. We still got lots more. Let me take a sip of my water. By the way, I was talking to Matthew Lissy from the Suns Jam Session podcast the other day, and I gave them a lot of credit. Their shows are really better structured and organized than mine, but I think I kind of like that, how like my shows aren't necessarily structured. There's not really a script. I just kind of have notes and I react. And if you guys like these shows, I will try to do more of them. Backcourt highlights. We can't judge this team yet. Got to see them fully healthy and healthy for a good portion of time. Stay positive, Suns fans. Exactly. Also, the middle part right there. And healthy for a good portion of time. Stay positive, Suns fam. Exactly. Anyways, I don't really know where I was going with that whole, segment on, my live shows compared to Suns Jam. I love those guys. Those are my boys right there. They have me on their show all the time. I actually invited John on to this show tonight, but I think he was busy. Hopefully I can get both of them on soon. So yeah. All right, guys. Time for me to get a little negative, but also positive at the same time. Let's talk about Frank Vogel. Oh boy, Frank Vogel. Let me just remind you guys here, first off. Let me just remind you guys that how do I word this? Monty Williams now coaches in Detroit. Let me just remind you guys of that we do have a new head coach. I know that sounds silly, but I think some Suns fans kind of forget that. As silly as that sounds. Let me start with the negative here. And Frank Vogel, which there's probably a 0.1% chance Frank Vogel is watching. There's probably a 0.1% chance that Frank Vogel cares that what I have to say. He probably doesn't even know who I am, nor do I expect him to. But Frank Vogel, if you're watching, please, on behalf of all Suns fans, including myself, please switch something up. Please switch a couple of things up. Now, I don't have the answer. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't have the answer to what Frank Vogel should do. But could Frank Vogel switch something up? Absolutely. I know a lot of you guys are fans of Chimezie Metu. Hopefully I said his name right. You guys know me. I love Bol Bol. I'm not saying Bol Bol's the answer. I'm not. I'm just saying Bol Bol's just chilling on the bench. There's probably 3 other guys who are chilling on our bench. And I'm not saying they're the answer. I'm just saying there's guys on our bench who might deserve more of a look. And look, I will take this L. I will take this loss here. I was wrong about Keita Bates-Diop. I know. Shocker. Suns Geek was wrong about something. Trust me, you guys, I've been wrong about a lot of things. But Keita Bates-Diop surprised me. And we're going to talk a little bit about the 5th starter thing here in a minute. So hold on. But I got to give props. Keita Bates-Diop, I get why they went out and got this guy. I do. First off, you can't teach size. He has size and versatility. Doesn't he have like a 7'1" wingspan or something like that? We all knew he's a pretty good defender, but he's surprised me. Shout out to my guy Casey here. Suns Geek was wrong. I'll see you in court. That's so good. But Keita Bates-Diop has surprised me just in terms of a little bit with the offense, because he can score a little bit, but just kind of making those sometimes crucial plays, whether it's like a block or it's just a good defensive play or whatever the case may be, maybe a corner 3. And I like his attitude. Like I've listened to a lot of interviews and stuff. He just seems like a good guy, good team guy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I was wrong about him. I hope he continues to get minutes. I hope he continues to start. But Frank Vogel needs to do something. And look, we saw this last year. how Monty Williams kind of had like a 8 or 9 guys that he stuck with. And when he threw out other guys in the playoffs, it was kind of bad. Terrence Ross, TJ Warren, etc. But you could make the argument, maybe those guys needed more minutes. And I'm not saying Chimezi Medu or whoever else, Bol is the answer, or whoever I'm forgetting about on this team. But I'm just saying, maybe Frank Vogel's got to look at somebody else. And that's why I was so bitter and kind of salty about how we still have 72 games left. We can criticize all these professional athletes all we want, but guys, and I understand, oh, these guys make millions of dollars, blah, blah. Guys, 82 games is a long season. 72 games is a long time to figure things out. I just hope Frank Vogel does something. Maybe bring somebody else off of the bench. Maybe cut somebody's minutes just a little bit. Like, Utah's been a little disappointing. Maybe that's because they're targeting Utah because they know he can shoot. Jordan Goodwin's been on and off. We talked about Josh Okogie and all that and his offensive flaws. Like, and again, I'm not going to take the full L, but I'll take a little bit of the L. I was one of those Suns fans and creators who was sort of overhyping a lot of the moves we did. And I mean overhype. I really do. I overhyped a lot of this team. I was like, oh, yeah, we got Utah and we got this guy and blah, blah. Like, come on, Suns fans. I was excited. Not to make excuses, but we did just, have 2 terrible playoff losses in back-to-back playoffs. So I was pretty thrilled when, we cleaned house pretty much. So let me get to the positive, though, about Frank Vogel. And I'm not specifically, actually, I kind of am. You know what? I take that back. I'm kind of specifically targeting some negative, pessimistic, I can't say that word, negative Suns fans who think, and this is how outlandish and crazy their, quote, opinion is. I believe everybody has an opinion, but sometimes people just say things just to say things or to troll. I literally have seen comments and tweets that Suns fans think we should fire Frank Vogel. I've seen it. I wish I would have screen capped it. There are Suns fans who think we should fire Frank Vogel.
You what?
First off, Suns fans. And specifically these Suns fans who think firing Frank Vogel is the answer. This is not NBA 2K. You can't just press a button and fire a head coach. Also, let me remind you guys, he's won a championship. He's had some really good teams under his belt. Now, I've studied Suns history. There was a coach, I forgot the year, but his name was Butch Van Brudikoff or something like that. Jerry Colangelo, yes, the pretty much godfather of Valley sports. Jerry Colangelo fired him in like 4 or 5 games. I made a whole video about it back in 2020. But that was a different circumstance. First off, that was decades ago. 2, the Suns weren't necessarily a contender and they were off to a bad start, and that's why he fired him. And they just straight up butted heads. Like, again, I made a whole video about it. It was in a book and everything. He fired him after like 5 games. It's like, you just don't do that. You don't just fire a coach. And I forget what Frank Vogel's contract looks like, but I know it's more than a year. I said it from this. Thank you, DJ Ocho. Butch Van Brudikoff. Thank you. Seriously, go look that up, guys. It's on my channel. Go research it. Jerry Colangelo said, yeah, you're out. Honestly, I believe a lot of that was because they just straight up butted heads, but we did get off to a bad start that year, and that's why we fired him. Anyways, Yes, there are Suns fans who think firing Frank Vogel is the answer. You just don't do that when you're a contender. You just don't. Now, it makes sense, in my opinion, why we fired Monty Williams. Let's say we kept Monty Williams, right? And we started off 4-6, we probably would have fired him. Now, that wouldn't solve a lot of things, especially with this roster, but Monty wasn't good. Even if we would have kept Monty, he probably wouldn't have gone far if we would, or he wouldn't have lasted if we would have, lost in the semifinals again or Western Conference Finals. Worst case scenario, Monty had like 1 year left. And yes, as much as I love Monty, I do believe firing him was the right move. But a lot of Suns fans think firing Frank Vogel is the right idea. They think that solves everything. Do you know how upset Devin Booker and KD and Bradley Beal and all of them would be if we even considered firing Frank Vogel, which again, they're not going to do that. It just wouldn't make sense, you guys. But I will say this, Frank Vogel needs to switch things up. I hope we see it on Wednesday versus the Timberwolves. And I believe we play the Jazz back-to-back. Maybe then he can do it. Also, for anybody who cares, we had today off, and I think they canceled practice, which I understand. Maybe we should have had practice, but I'm like, give the guys a day off, Because again, we play the Timberwolves, and we got a couple back-to-backs and all that. So I'm okay with the day off. But I just hope Frank Vogel switches things up and the guys are working their tails off in practice and we clean up the turnovers and we clean up the terrible fourth quarters and we start hitting some freaking shots. Even though there were some bad losses last year and we flamed out in the playoffs, back-to-back postseasons, I will repeat this. I will die on this hill. A lot of those games could have been won if the ball just went in the basket. And we have good shooters on this team. We have guys that can put the ball in the basket. That's why I was kind of harping on the ball movement, because we've seen a lot of possessions where the ball was zipping around and the ball was moving and Grayson Allen was wide open or Bradley Beal was wide open. The floor was spaced. So please do something, Frank Vogel. But to the Suns fans who think firing him is the answer, it's just not. And that's just stupid and wouldn't make any sense. And we would be clowned on by the entire league if that happened. But it won't happen. Speaking of Frank Vogel, as we've already seen this season, the fifth starter is going to change a lot, and I believe that. And before we kind of talk about Josh Okogie and stuff, I feel like for a while, unless Frank Vogel makes a drastic change, I feel like for a while, and this is an actual quote too, the fifth starters are going to flip-flop because I believe Frank Vogel said that matchups will greatly determine who the fifth starter is. That's a quote from Frank Vogel. And he talked about that. He talked about that in training camp, media day. And honestly, I'm all for that. That's kind of why I kept saying, switch things up, Frank Vogel. Do something new. But I'm okay with Keita Bates-Diop being the fifth starter for now. And I'm okay with, at some points, Josh Okogie being the starter. Speaking of Josh Okogie, I had a tweet yesterday, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but I stuck to it. I believe it. Let me just find the tweet first. I feel like Josh Okogie has unfortunately become the Phoenix Suns' new scapegoat, if you will. And pretty much my tweet said, and I do stand by this, And I'm not saying Josh Okogie's the answer. I'm not saying Josh Okogie is not to blame, because there's a lot you can blame Josh Okogie for. I get it. The offensive flaws are real. You know, I get it. But I really do stand by this tweet. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, if you don't already. Let me just pull that up. There we go. I said Josh Okogie has sadly become the, quote, scapegoat, end quote, for some, if not most, of Suns Twitter. Everything is Josh Okogie's fault, apparently. I still believe in him. Yes, the offense is a problem and inconsistent, but I'm not forgetting the value he brings to this team. Go Suns. And I'll be real, there's been times where even on defense, I feel like he struggled. Sometimes I'm like, did Josh Okogie even play? That's how bad of a game sometimes he has. But I still believe in Josh Okogie, y'all. I really do. This is the Josh Okogie segment. And I've honestly seen a lot of fans who are pretty much saying like, hey, what have you done for me lately, Josh Okogie? And I understand that. You know, I understand that this is basketball, and if you're not consistent, you get sent to the bench and, you know, your numbers go down. I get it. But like, I really do feel like a lot of fans are like, what have you done for me lately, Josh Okogie? And I don't know if that's necessarily fair. Because, you know, this is a guy that most nights puts it all out on the court. He leaves it all out on the court. He makes those hustle plays that don't show up on the stat sheets. Hustles for rebounds. Arguably our best defender on the team. You know, I credited his athleticism sometimes, and he can get to the free throw line sometimes. And he even talked about it. Now, again, I wish I would have pulled up the quote or wrote the quote down, but Josh Okogie did say, I need to be more aggressive. I need to quit standing in the corner. So Josh Okogie knows that. And shout out to my guy, Timberwolves Talk. He's been on this channel a couple times before. He said, offense has always been the issue, but his energy, defense, and locker room presence is a plus. He's a valuable player. I still believe in Josh Okogie, y'all. Sorry if that's an unpopular opinion to have in the Suns world, but I still believe in Josh Okogie. And I'm not saying he should be the 5th permanent starter. At first I was. I'm not going to sound like a hypocrite there, because one of the last live shows I did, I said, I don't think Keita Bates-Diop should be starting. I think Josh Okogie still should be. And that's when I realized I don't know anything about this new team, because this is a brand new team. We're learning as we go. And I guess I should have listened more to Frank Vogel when he talked about how the 5th starter will be dependent on matchups. Let me take a sip of my water, y'all. So we're almost at the hour mark. And I still got a couple more things that we're going to talk about. Again, sorry if I didn't get to your questions or comments. I do appreciate everybody that's watching along live or later. Speaking of comments, we are going to read some tweets and comments, and then maybe we'll keep playing the game that we're going to play in a little bit. We hit the hour mark, so everybody crush that like button. Just absolutely destroy it. Leave a comment later if you're watching, because that tells YouTube that you guys are enjoying the content. It literally does tell them that. They'll see that people are commenting on the videos, and they'll be like, wow, you guys liked Suns Geek's video. That helps me out. That literally helps keep the lights on here. So appreciate you guys. Ghost Sniper X, appreciate you being here. Cool Spider-Man picture. Guys, he says, you guys remember that Suns game against the Jazz? There's flashes in the game of this team's full potential. Exactly. Oh, yeah, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't we 2-0 with Devin Booker, or am I crazy? I don't know. Anyways. So that's enough on Josh Okogie, y'all. Just wanted to defend him. I think overall, I just think it's not fair to put unrealistic expectations on the Suns team. Not yet. And I know I've read about it, or I'm not read about it. I've read the comments. I've talked to people over like DMs and stuff. I understand that the expectations are arguably at an all-time high. If not, they are at an all-time high. Adrian Olivia, I appreciate you being here. He says, have a good night, brother. God bless. Let's go, Suns. God bless you, man. Appreciate you watching. Thank you to everybody who's watching too, especially after the 1 hour mark, y'all. Anyways, I understand that there are super high expectations. I get it. This is on paper, at least, one of the best Suns teams ever assembled. And I could go all day. Matt Ishbia and Frank Vogel and all the great stuff that happened during the offseason. I get why fans are so upset. I get why Suns fans are so critical. I get it. Trust me, guys. This is what I do on this channel. I cover the team. I get it. I read tweets all day. I read the comments. I get it. But it's just not fair to have unrealistic expectations. Heck, I've seen a couple people respond to me saying, like, Suns fans think we should have went 82-0. You know, there's some Suns fans that think we should be 10-0 right now, which is weird because Frank Vogel even kind of said, like, he wishes we were 7-0. This was obviously a few days ago, but he's like 7-0, no excuses. But like realistically, you're not going to win all 82 games. But I think Suns fans think we should have won 82 games. We just got to get our big three healthy. And as somebody in the chat mentioned earlier, consistently healthy. Championship contenders need time to gel. They need time to get things rolling. It takes time. I know Suns fans want success right away, and I do too. It may not seem like it, but I do. I want to win. Because first off, from a content creator standpoint, when we're winning, the content's great for any content creator. Whether you cover football or hockey or baseball, basketball, it's great when your team's winning. You got so much to talk about. When you're losing, it's kind of like, hey, XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, game's over, you know? Pretty easy to talk about. We should have won because we didn't do this and we didn't do that. Game's over. I know Suns fans expect better. I expect better. But I believe it will get better. And as Adrian Olivia says, I will die happy with just one championship. Just one. That's all we're asking for. How many years have we been in existence? 55, 56 years? I just need one ring. I don't know about you guys, but I'm 34 years old. And I've been watching basketball for as long as I can remember. I just want one ring. Look, even though I think that the Toronto Raptors should have a very strong retool or a rebuild, at least they won a title in 2019. And I know Klay Thompson went down that year. Doesn't matter. They still won the ring, y'all. They won the ring. Heck, the Warriors were terrible for like 2 years because of their injuries. They came back and won the championship. Now they've won what, like 5 or 6 or 4 or whatever. I don't know. But you guys get my point. Just one chip, y'all. One chip. Think about that, you guys. Think about how on fire the Valley was when we went to the finals in the pandemic year. Think about how hyped the Valley was for the Diamondbacks in the World Series. Like, obviously I wasn't there, but I saw it all, you know, like I said this on the PHNX podcast when I was on there. Championship or bust. It's that simple. There is no excuse why this team should not go to the finals. No excuse. There's no excuse to why this team shouldn't win. Even though Espo was kind of right, and I do agree with him. He said 2-year window. There's no excuse why the Suns should not win a championship in the next 2 years. Okay. before we get out of here, which this segment actually might take a long time, so we're gonna, you guys might as well buckle in. We're gonna be here for a little bit. I asked you guys on my Instagram to, and you guys can play along as well. I'll try to read them. You guys might need to submit them a few times because we got a lot to read. I don't know if I can read all of them because I had a lot of responses on my Twitter. Where is that screenshot? Here it is. I had a lot of feedback. By the way, follow me on Instagram, by the way. But I put out, and let me find the tweet too. Give me a second here, you guys. Oops. Oh, is that it? Oh. Wait for it. Here it is. You guys know the drill here. One-man show. Okay. So I asked you guys yesterday in a YouTube short. I asked you on Twitter. And before we read the Twitter responses, I asked you guys, fill in the blank. It's just 10 games, but, and I'll start with the Instagram ones first. If you guys, I'll just pull this up real quick. Here's the responses. I'll try to get to all of them. Some of them are funny. And yeah, so let me start with Vince, who says, we need Book back. My guy Charles, who says injuries. So remember, it's just 10 games, but we need Book back, injuries. Suns win card says, I'm exhausted already, or I'm already exhausted by the season. That's funny. Shez99 says, feels like end of the season. Mitch says we suck. AKISMHH says we're playing ass, sad face emoji. Aiden says we need a point guard, which I have some thoughts on that, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute. Big Will says, why is fourth quarter lava? Matt verse self, shout out to you, says the fourth quarter needs to be eliminated, play NCAA 2 halves or play NHL 3 periods. That's hilarious. My guy, DJ Ocho, who made the awesome intro, by the way, says we'll be okay. I agree with that. Thank you for the positivity. Abstract E46 says, damn, we look bad. Suns King 1 says, I think we suck without our best player, Devin Booker. Those were all the Instagram things I could see. Anyways, I'm sure there was like comments and stuff. But let's get to Twitter. Here's where it gets really negative. I'm going to try to read all these. There's a lot here. I didn't necessarily agree with this one, but Roundtable Hoop says, if you think Booker, let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me move this so you guys can kind of read the comments with me. Let's see how this looks. Nope, that's not it. This. There you go. Now you guys can actually see. If you look over, you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. Roundtable Hoop says, if you think Booker returning is the answer to the problem in Phoenix, my friend, you are in for a rude awakening. Did you not watch the game against the Spurs with Booker, LOL? And I said, season's over, blow it up, fire Vogel, rebuild. Shout out to my guy, Super Mario Hoops. Him and I were joking around that the Bulls and the Suns are going to make the finals. And I put ... in NBA 2K, and he said, welcome to the club. And he put the Chinese Basketball League, adding the Bulls and Suns in there. He's totally joking, but you know, funny stuff like that. We got to have a sense of humor. Whoa, where did my tweet go, y'all? All right, anyways, let's keep reading some comments here. And then we'll talk about the point guard stuff. Then we'll try to get to your guys' comments, all that. Casual Sports said, but there is no timetable when team chemistry comes together. Trust is hard to build, which I understand what he's saying there, but like, okay, that's why we have practices. That's why you have like off the court events for team bonding. Like, I get there's no timetable with chemistry and there's trust and all that, but like, I would rather get all of that out of the way now, build that trust, and then start the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go through the lows before you can get to the highs. I get what he's saying, but I don't know. I didn't really like that comment. Shout out to my guy, Brendan. I hope I'm saying your name right. He'll be fine. People are acting like this team should have gone 82-0. Amen to that. Chris Kaufman says this team needs its best player. Abnormal Suns fan says the Suns are in trouble. blah, blah, blah. I could go all day. There's so many comments here, you guys. Our inability to close out games is unacceptable. I like Nicholas's comment here. He just says, I'm sad. I retweeted that because I thought it was funny. I'm sad. That's hilarious. A durable ball handling point guard is going to be needed. So I'll give you guys my thoughts just real quick on the point guard situation. And maybe I'm alone on this after 10 games. And I'm not saying this to have like a hot take or anything or like stand out, but I'm going to believe this for now. It's just 10 games, but I don't believe the Phoenix Suns need a point guard yet. Keyword, yet. I don't think they need one right now. But as some of the comments say, and it is true, do we need kind of like a table setter, like an actual true ball handling point guard? Maybe in the future. I get it. I see why we need one after 10 games, but it's just 10 games. And maybe Booker and his playmaking, because he has improved in that. Point Booker is a real thing. He's proved me wrong with his point guard skills and playmaking and all that. I think we might need to hold off on the point guard stuff until Book is 100%. And maybe Bradley Beal's playmaking needs to improve. And you know how Frank Vogel and everybody else kept saying this is going to be a multiple ball handler attack. I don't know if we've seen much of that. But I think it's just a little too early to get a point guard right now. But I will say this, Suns fans. Hopefully we can all agree with this. I hope the Suns are maybe looking. I know the John Wall stuff. I know. I'm not big on the John Wall stuff. He's not in the league for a reason. Injuries unfortunately killed his career. And I loved John Wall, man. I did. He was a great player. Could have been one of the all-time greats, but injuries suck. Now, if Bradley Beal is in the front office preaching and saying, I want John Wall on this team right now, then yeah, maybe I would vouch for him too and change my tone, but I just don't see the John Wall stuff. But it's just 10 games, but I don't think we need a point guard right now. Let me get to a few more of these comments. So do me a favor, y'all, because I might have missed it. The chat's going nuts. Put in the comments right now. It's just 10 games, but, and I'll try to read them. And then I'm going to say something that's going to be super unpopular, and I'll probably get canceled after I say it. But I need to get it off my chest, y'all, because it's true. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Platty says, oops, we're good in the West with the cool emoji. It's funny. We need a true point guard, says N. Allen. It's too early for y'all to be talking this trash. I agree with that. Extremely concerned, especially with Beal being hurt again. By the way, you guys, the last update I saw on Bradley Beal was, I think he said his back got tight throughout the game and he wasn't 100%. I don't think we're going to have an update until tomorrow. Adrian Olivia simply says, it's just 10 games, but that's funny. I see what you did there. Chad Wilson says, it's just 10 games, but DA still sucks. That's so good. That's why I wanted to do this, y'all. Even though I'm kind of thinking of engaging more with Suns Twitter, this is why I kind of do it, because sometimes you guys are hilarious, but sometimes you guys are just way too toxic for me. Stephanie in the comments says, Lord help us, we need a point guard and stop turning the freaking ball over. Dell says it's a make or miss league. Guys in the Suns all think KD's going to bail them out. when they all need to start making and stop missing open shots. I actually agree with that. That's simple. I'm looking at Diop, Beal, Nurkic, Allen, Yuta. So yeah, lots more comments. I got a lot of feedback. Way too many to read. We'd be here for like another hour if I read them all. But thank you to everybody that engaged on that post or engaged with the Instagram post and all that. Appreciate y'all. So again, get your guys's it's just 10 games but comments in. Then I'm going to say something kind of controversial on here, but I need to get it off my chest. It's true. Let me take a sip of my water before Sun's Twitter cancels me. So yeah. All right. It's just 10 games, but we will be a top 2-3 seed come April. I agree. Like I said last year, because I believe last year's worst case scenario was like the 4th seed, and I think that might have been what we were, if I remember correctly. I believe worst case scenario will be like a 4th seed. It's just 10 games, but we need to see the games on the what's happened. Well, I can't read this. We need to see the games on the what's happening with that. I'm sorry, my brain just went to mush. I think I get what you're saying, but anyways, next comment here. Iverson Vlogs, with his optimistic point of view, I'm joking. It's just 10 games, but my ass thinks the season is over and my blood pressure is bad at age 20. Well, Iverson, enjoy your youth, man, because it gets a lot worse when you grow up. It's kind of funny, though. I hope your blood pressure is okay, man. It's a serious thing. Take care of yourself, man. It's just 10 games, but that's different. Go. I think he was responding to somebody there. Oh, okay. Now I see what you're saying, Adrian, Olivia. We need to see Suns games on TV. What's happening with that? Last time I checked, YouTube TV like took all that. I don't know, y'all. Let me see. Kevin Durant wanted to come here. We had draft capital and depth, exactly. DJ Ocho says, say it. Don't worry. I'm going to say it soon because I got to get it off my chest, y'all. Suns fans didn't believe Durant would come here. Bro, this is in-season tournament. It's like preseason. Yeah, okay. Anyways, y'all. All right, y'all. Time to get canceled. At least on Twitter or maybe on YouTube. We'll see. I know I'm probably setting myself up for disaster here. But I do need to get this off my chest, y'all. Because I've seen so much toxic. I can't say that word. I can't talk, apparently. You guys know that. I can't talk. I can't read. You guys know that. I've seen so much toxic stuff, especially on Twitter. And I came to the realization, I'm probably like 3 years too late on this, but it's true. And look, I don't want to sound like the Suns gatekeeper by any means. I'm just a fan like you guys. Yes, I do videos on the Suns, all that stuff. Yes, I have a channel, all that good stuff, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to have the following that I have on YouTube. I am grateful for this channel. I'm grateful for the fact that there's 50 people watching and I've been live for over an hour and a half. I'm grateful for all my Instagram, Twitter followers, et cetera, right? I always will be. I love you guys. I'm always thanking you guys. Every time I hit a milestone, I thank you guys. And I even thank people like my guy, DJ Ocho, who took time out of his day to make me a new intro and all that. I love people make me logos. Like, I love you guys. Shout out to my guy, Casey. You know, like I can go all day with the gratitude. So I don't want to sound like the Suns gatekeeper here, even though I kind of am coming off like that. I'm probably going to lose some followers here, but this is true. A lot of this negativity, let me start off with that. A lot of the negativity from the Phoenix Suns' first 10 games, and this I do believe this to be true. a lot of the negativity is coming from the bandwagon fans. Yeah, I just went there. It is a lot of the bandwagon fans, y'all. A lot of you guys were not here before we got Chris Paul. And it shows. There was a tweet that really bothered me. And I'm not going to call out the individual who wrote it, because trust me, he received a lot of flack for it. And I'm slightly paraphrasing here, but I quote tweeted this. There was one tweet that said pretty much, "This is the sloppiest Suns basketball I've seen in 30 years. The guy claimed to be a Suns fan of 30 years, which I can't prove that he is or isn't. He probably is, but are you a loyal fan of 30 years? When you say that this version of the Suns is, quote, the worst, sloppiest Suns basketball in 30 years. I quote tweeted him with a picture of when we got blown out, I think by 50 points or 48 points on opening night back in like 2017 or something like that. Which, by the way, I think I made a video that night. That's how far back that this channel goes. Yeah, I quote tweeted him that, and I pretty much just told him that that's outlandish, and he received a lot of heat, which he should have. And I understand people like to troll on Twitter. People like to say outlandish things to get attention. I get it. Sometimes I've admitted this, I've added to the toxic stuff on Twitter. Sometimes I'll have a negative tweet out there, whatever. It's Twitter, right? But a lot of this negativity and a lot of the cliche narratives are coming from the bandwagon fans. Sorry, it's true. And if you're not a bandwagon fan, you're just a casual fan who, you know, just watches the games when we're good, or maybe only watches every once in a while, you know, and only reads the headlines. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, you know, like there's some people that believe like, oh, you know, how do I say this? Like everybody can be a Suns fan, like welcome aboard, you know, but like we all know who the real fans are in a way. We all know who was here when we were winning 18 games. And look, in all fairness to the casual or bandwagon fans, some of you guys are younger. I get it. Some of you guys were probably too young to remember, you know, the 18-win Suns, or, you know, like the 2015 Suns when we drafted Booker, right? I get it. And a little bit of the negativity might be coming from them. You know, this younger generation is so hard to please, and you know, you guys know, if you guys have kids or work with kids like I do, you guys know this generation is pretty crazy, right? So I get it. It's not all from the older fans. A lot of this negativity is from the younger Suns fans. There's a lot of fans on Twitter that think they're better than professional basketball players, and they tweet like it, which, you know what? Love or hate KD, I actually like, yeah, I admit this. I like that Kevin Durant tweets at people and goes back and forth, because sometimes these fans need to be put in their place. It's true. By the way, you guys, I don't know if you saw this, and I can probably pull it up. Kevin Durant and LeBron James tweeted, or should I say responded to the same tweet recently. It was on a Suns post, and I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see if I can find the tweet too. Here we go. Just pull this up real quick. Then I'll go on my, then we'll pretty much wrap up the show. But yeah, so it was, and look, you know, Kevin Durant does this. This isn't like anything new. He's always responding to people's tweets, but you know, the tweet's different, and I'm trying to find it, but the website's kind of being slow. Give me a second here, you guys. One man show here. Oh, here it is. It's not every day when LeBron James responds to a tweet, especially a Suns tweet. So before we kind of wrap up the show, because we've been here for almost an hour and a half, this is when we played the Lakers the other night. I'm sure you guys saw this. Beautiful photo of Kevin Durant and LeBron James having a good time on the court, you know, because they're friends. You know, they're friends and all that, right? Good photo, went viral, a few different angles of it. And there was a quote tweet. I'm trying to find it actually. Pretty much some guy was in there giving his opinion why he thought Jordan was the GOAT. And then, you know what? Give me a second here, you guys. Kevin Durant responded to it. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. I got to find this. I literally just had it too. Take a shot for all the times that I've said one-man show. Well, I can't find the exact tweet, but here's what Kevin Durant wrote. At some point, y'all non-athletes gonna realize that friends compete harder against one another. And then LeBron responded with a picture of Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley. Which he's right. You know, Barkley and MJ had themselves some battles. And even if it was off the court, they were always competing against each other. I'm trying to pull up Kevin Durant's Twitter. Oh geez, give me a second here, you guys. I clicked the wrong button. Please forgive me in my terrible. Let me see. What is going on here? What is going on in my life? That's how you know my brain is fried after being live for like an hour and a half when I can't pull up the tweets. Let's see. Give me a second here, you guys. Here it is. Okay. This is what I should have pulled up. Just share Kevin Durant's page here. Yeah, here it is. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, y'all. This was the response that got Kevin Durant and LeBron James to respond. I hate this quote, we all friends, laughing during the game-ish. It's time to go to work. Kill these mofos and keep your four on their necks. This is one of the reasons why MJ23 is the GOAT. Simply killed everyone in sight. And Kevin Durant then responded with, at some point, y'all non-athletes got to realize that friends compete harder against one another. And then LeBron, you know, again, I can't find the picture. Yeah, there it is. LeBron James himself hopped on Twitter and responded with that. I don't really know where I was going with all that, but I just like how Kevin Durant is not shy on Twitter and will go back and forth with fans. I love it. So I think I'm done preaching, y'all. I think I'm done ranting. You know, sorry if y'all want to cancel me after my son's Bandwagon fans rant, but it's true. A lot of y'all are Bandwagon fans, and y'all just need to chill the hell out. You guys need to chill. Give this team some time to gel. It's going to take a while. I understand we have unrealistic expectations. I understand it's championship or bust, but these things take time. So, yeah, I don't know, y'all. Please don't cancel me. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for dealing with the one-man show of this show. And yeah, you guys are all awesome. So just do me a favor, you guys, crush that like button. Again, if you missed the start of the show, gonna try to do some more live shows, especially within the next 2 weeks, because I think next week I have like all off from my other job, so I'll be able to do more live shows, and hopefully things are better by then, and we'll have more to talk about. So appreciate y'all again. It may not seem like it, but at the end of the day, I'm truly grateful for all of the support. You know, the fact that you guys watch me and you continue to watch me, and the fact that you guys even like comment on my page and Instagram and Twitter and all that, I'm grateful. I love you guys. I truly do work hard for you. saying that I put in overtime on this channel is an understatement. Like, I do have a job, but like I do this pretty much full time. So, yeah, you guys are awesome, y'all. Before we get out of here, just going to play the classic video that I always do. And yeah, let's play.
Holy crap, you guys, Kevin Durant is coming to the Phoenix Suns. It's 150% guaranteed. Kevin Durant is coming to the Phoenix Suns. Yes!
So, final thoughts, y'all. Try not to hit the panic button if you haven't already. Be patient and just be better. Be better, Suns fans. You know, just my personal opinion. Kenyon Perry, you've been here for a long time, man. I've seen your comments for years now. Says, thanks for keeping us informed. You're welcome, man. That's, you know, at the end of the day, y'all, not to go on another rant here, but that's where I feel like this channel thrives, is just to keep you guys updated on the latest Suns news, rumors, fan reactions, you know, my reactions. I feel like that's where this channel thrives. I've said it so many times, and I'm not trying to compare myself to other channels, but there's lots of great Suns podcasts out there. There's lots of great Suns and basketball content, but I feel like my channel thrives on that, you know, giving you guys the latest Suns news, my opinions on it, etc. So I'll always do that. I will do my best in any way, shape, or form to give you guys the best Phoenix Suns news that I possibly can. I'm gonna throw myself under the wheel here, but my guy DJ Ocho says, say it. El Valle. I still can't pronounce it. Was that better though? That kind of sounded better, but if you guys want to know how to actually pronounce it from DJ Ocho himself, here's how you pronounce this.
El Valle. El Valle. El Valle.
El Valle. I still can't pronounce it. I just call it the Sun City edition. And yes, I love this hat. I did order it. Just got in a couple days ago. It's beautiful. Probably one of my favorite. And you know what? As I said, I take back everything I said about the El Valle Sun City edition jerseys. I love it. I love the court. Yes, even the purple court. I love it. I love the jerseys. And I like it. Okay. I'm sorry, Suns fans. I like what we have. Okay. Before we get out of here, good question from JR2, actually. You believe sports are rigged, Suns Geek? Here's the thing, y'all. I used to, and this doesn't really answer the question. First off, I don't believe they're rigged, but I will say this. And I've changed my tune on this over the years. And it's pretty obvious. I believe the draft lottery is rigged. And I'm not saying that because of Victor Wembanyama, even though you could make the argument for that. But it's true. Like when the Pelicans got Zion, I was like, yeah, the draft lottery is rigged. I do believe that. I believe maybe certain elements, if that's even the correct word, I believe certain parts of sports and basketball are rigged. But I don't believe all sports are rigged. And I hate to take my favorite sport that I love to a dark place like that. But I try not to believe in the conspiracies. But I just don't believe it. But the draft lottery, hell yeah, is definitely rigged. Well, on that note, I think I'm going to get out of here, y'all. Like I said, more live shows are on the way. I'm going to try anyways, especially more post-game lives. I know that, again, there's lots of other channels out there, but that go live after the game. So I'm going to try. This was a good show, y'all. I know that this show was a lot of positives and negatives, but I wanted to really get this off my chest. I just had to. It was just boiling up, like just so many negative comments every single day. I was just like, I can't do this, y'all. I was like, I got to get on here and let it all out. Even if I come off as bitter and salty, I just got to Just so much negativity was out there. I had to address it. And speaking of that, before we get out of here, and this is actually like feedback time. I'll read comments later if you made it this far. But would you guys want to see me, even if it was like on TikTok, would you guys want to see me do more like reactions to comments? I know that's not what you guys subscribe for, but like sometimes I go back and forth with people in the comments and I'm like, man, like, why can't I like make a video about that or like go live and react to comments? Would you guys want to see that maybe like on a slow Suns day? Or maybe like on my TikTok, like I'll just pull up the comment, react to it, give my thoughts on it. It's okay if you guys don't want to see that. I get it. Like that's not what you guys subscribe for, but I'm telling you, I could like make a million videos based off people's crazy comments. Like the firing Frank Vogel, that was a tweet. I could have reacted to that, you know? It's okay if you guys don't want that, but I was seriously considering like just making tons of videos or YouTube shorts or live shows addressing terrible comments. Maybe one day I'll start a second channel just strictly dedicated to ridiculous comments I read. So to end the show, my man Jesse Phoenix 602 says, I love Phoenix Suns, always a Suns fan, no matter what the outcome. Much love to Suns Geek and everyone as well. That's the positivity we need right there, y'all. And thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to everyone who will, you know, chooses to describe. Thank you to everyone who may subscribe in the future. Even if you're not subscribed, but you watch me consistently, that means a lot to me. So I love you guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm done ranting. This has gone on way too long. You guys are all amazing. Again, shout out to my guy, DJ Ocho, who made the incredible new intro. I loved it. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Much more content on the way. God bless y'all. Peace out. Stay safe. Be nice to people out there. And as always, win or lose, no matter who's on the court, no matter who's on our team, win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. Peace.
What's up, Suns Geek?